Every tomb tells a story, but sometimes you get lucky and you find a tomb that tells two stories from two completely different periods in history. So today I've returned to the church of St Hilary on the outskirts of Cowbridge in the Vale of Glamorgan to show you an example of just what I'm talking about. So this is the tomb that we're here to see, and this is the tomb of Sir Thomas Basset. So what's his story? Sir Thomas Basset was born in 1360 and died in 1423, but lived out his life at the family seat here at the oft mispronounced Beauper Castle. Arguably the finest Renaissance porch in the world. In addition to the estate here near Cowbridge, they also had estates elsewhere in the country, in Oxfordshire in particular. And the family were a very old family, being listed in the roll of combatants on the side of William the Conqueror at the Battle of Hastings in 1066. The Bassets are quite a grumpy bunch. We've got an episode logged of a dispute over the price of oats, resulting in one of the Basset family killing a local farmer in a sword fight. So not to be messed with then. But what does his tomb tell us about Sir Thomas himself? Well, you can see him displayed in full chainmail armour along with sword and shield and helmet, so he clearly fancied himself as something of a warrior, and to his credit, it was for military service that he actually received his knighthood in the first place. Although for all his military swagger, we can tell that he died peacefully in bed rather than in battle, because at his feet we have a cute little doggy. Had he been killed in a battle, then that would have been a lion. So, story number one, quite straightforward then. What's all this about a second story? But look closely at this tomb. This poor man is missing both arms. He's missing his nose. There is graffiti carved into his stomach and his neck and his chest. Even his poor little dog has had his head cut off. So why this mindless vandalism? Well, the vandalism has nothing to do with Thomas himself. It's because of one of his successors, a chap called Sir Richard Basset, all the way forward into the 17th century. So Sir Richard Basset was knighted after the Battle of Edge Hill, and he was the governor of Cardiff Castle, where he led the royalist forces during the Civil War. Now, the Civil War had officially ended when the Battle of St Fagans took place, largely because lords like Pembroke and Larne had changed sides and decided to have another crack at it. Sir Richard was leading the forces of the king, who by this point had been executed. But he was met at the Battle of St Fagans by Oliver Cromwell, and Oliver Cromwell was victorious. But as much as Sir Richard's loyalties lay to the king, the loyalties of the people of the village of St Hilary were rather more in favour of the parliamentarians. And when they returned from the Battle of St Fagans to air their anger at their lord, they took their swords and they desecrated the tomb of his ancestor. So there we are, one of the tidy tombs of Wales.